welcome those of you guys back here inside the SebyPodcast radio show outside of the broadcast booth here. My next guest today, guys, is an assistant manager for the Detroit Tigers, spent 13 seasons as a ball player and 16 as an assistant coach. Assistant manager Dave Clark of the Detroit Tigers. How are you today, my man?
I'm well, thank you.
Awesome. So I know that you, outside of this, obviously, you're a golf guy and you got other hobbies that you do. Talk to us about that and some of the stuff that you do outside.
Well, you know, that's the one thing about coming down to spring training. This first couple weeks or so, we just basically just getting our feet on the ground, and we have a little bit more free time to get out and do some golfing. So, as a matter of fact, we're going to play tomorrow, and then we have a big tournament that's coming up on Thursday where we're playing against some celebrities and some other people that have paid for us to play with them. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Right. Near Arnold Palmer, I'm assuming?
No, not that big. But no, there's some pretty big names that'll be in town, and you know, it's a big event for the Tigers and also for the Grassland Golf Country Club. So it's a real good time.
Right, awesome. Now, focusing on here in spring training, there's a lot of young prospects here with the Tigers, obviously. Any guy that stands out to you that is not a household name, not a lot of people know about?
Well, you know what? There's quite a few, to be honest with you. I work with the outfielders as well. Right now we got about 16 outfielders in camp that's going to probably get a chance to have 5 jobs available there. So my message to those guys was to come out and give it everything you got. Everybody has a chance to make this ball club. You may not think that, but you know, you don't go off of what you did last year. You know, we're more so in a building stage other than a rebuilding stage, and it's a wide open camp for those guys. But we have a few names like the Casey Mises, who was our first round pick in 2019. So you know, we're gonna get a real good look at him and see if he can make our ball club.
Awesome. Now, with this team here, of course, you playing for 13 seasons and being an assistant coach at 16. Is there anything as a former ball player now being a coach that you can take and give to your players in the dughouse or either in the clubhouse?
Well, no doubt about it. You know, players, it's this thing about, if you've done it before, been there, done that, there's a little bit more respect that's given to those guys. They've been in the, we've been in the war, we've been in the trenches, just like what they're going through. So it's not like it's anything that we hadn't seen or that we couldn't tell them about. With that aspect, I think there's a lot of respect. The fact that they know that we're gonna teach them the best that we can. All we ask is that they come out and give us everything they got every day. And of course, we have to make decisions out of spring training. We can only take 26 guys north for us in a camp that's probably got about 75 people. So it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of teams that have counted us out. We're not going to worry about that. We can only take care of what we can take care of, and that's the Detroit Tigers. Prepare these guys to play every day, and hopefully we can get off to a good start and good things could happen.
Definitely there. Now, some veteran acquisitions in the free agency market for sure. Guys like second baseman Jonathan Schaub and pitcher Ian Nova spent a lot of time with the Pirates, the former pitcher for the Yankees as well, and even Eric Haas from the rival Indians. Now, we know that you guys hate the Indians for sure. So what can these veterans do for such a young ball club like this?
Well, you know what, especially the guys that have been, the ones that have been around, the guys that have won. They bring a winning type of attitude over here, and that's what we're trying to create here, winning atmosphere, not just to win this season, but to win in the seasons ahead as well. When you talk about winning championship, it's not about winning one. You got to win one first, but we're preparing, we're getting this organization in a place where we can win multiple championships. And when you go out and acquire veteran players like the Jonathan Scope and the C.J. Crone and the Ivan Nova, these guys have won at the big league level. They've played in big cities where the fans are you know how that is. They're crazy, but the fact of the matter is that they can bring that to this ball club, guys that hadn't experienced that before, and it's always better for them for the younger players to get it from a player than it is from a coach. It's just they're with those guys in there in the clubhouse with them every day. Granted, they give us the respect, but I always tell guys, hey, look up to the players first, the veteran players first, and then come to us.
Right, definitely there for sure. Some of the veterans like J.G. Martinez you guys have here for sure. And now, speaking of championships, right? I got to bring this up to you because 2 former Cy Young pitchers that you guys had. You talk about Justin Verlander with the Astros, and also Max Scherzer, well respected, just winning a championship with the Nationals here. And how fitting that is that they're both pitchers coming from the Detroit Tigers. So How does that make you
Well,
feel?
you know, it's just a change in time, a change of guard. You know, we were starting to get in that rebuild stage, and when you start to rebuild, you're gonna have to give up your horses to try to build up your minor league system, and that's what we did when we traded Justin. Even though Max was a free agent, and so was Porcello, who also won a Cy Young with us a couple years ago. But those guys were Justin was traded. J.D. Martinez, we ended up trading him. He goes and wins a championship with Boston.
Right.
So you know, I mean, for me, I pull for those guys. I had JD as a kid over in Houston before I came here. So you pull for those guys. Now, when we play them, we want to kick the bus, of course. But you know, it's just fun. I'd rather for the good guys to win than the bad guys. And those guys that we just named are really, really good people.
Awesome. That speaks volume to the Detroit Tigers as well with their system and
No doubt
how they
about it.
develop players
No doubt
as well.
about
So coming from those pages as well, we won't talk about the Astros. We're Justin Verrill Allen's current club now. There as well. Last question here, Coach. A lot of expectations this season. Very disappointing, lackluster season for only 47 wins. Now, I know the stakes are high this year. You guys want to make amends for what happened last year. Any expectations what we should expect this year?
Well, you know what? I tell you, I will say this right here. We'll be a heck of a lot better than we were last year. You know, when the season started, everybody's record is going to be 0-0. You talk about playing 162 games, and for you to win, a lot of things have to click. A lot of things have to come together. And one of the biggest things is, you know, guys not getting hurt.
Right.
Injuries tend to happen, but if we can keep guys on the field, we feel like we can compete with anybody in our division, and really and truly anybody in baseball. You know, we have a good staff here. We have a good manager. We have a good front office, and these people are all about one thing, and that's to get us in a position where we can start winning. And I think that this year is going to be the beginning of it.
Awesome there. Best of luck to you guys here in spring training.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Manager Dave Clark. Pleasure to have you here.